You've got the money to retire, maybe even the plan, but you keep hesitating and wondering, what if I regret walking away? Because once your health or energy fades, there's no getting that time back. This video walks you through a clear, practical way to test retirement first before making anything permanent. We're not going to be just crunching numbers. We're going to walk through the proven framework of test driving the life you've been working toward for decades. Because when the moment finally comes, you'll want to be sure and you won't get a do-over. Joe and Helen are facing a question that stops a lot of people. Retire today or work one more year? It feels smarter to wait, more savings and more safety, but let's look at what they're actually gaining and what you might be giving up. Let me show you what I mean. Joe is 60 and is still working. He earns $150,000 a year and is saving $30,000 of that into his 401k. Helen is already retired, and together they're trying to figure out whether it makes more sense for Joe to keep working another year or if he can finally enjoy the years of hard work and sacrifice right now. So let's test their plan. If Joe retires right now, they're looking at $11,300 a month in gross income. That's based on their specific number, so don't take this as advice, but it gives us a real world example to work from. Now, based on their plan, income could rise 6% every 2 years, but drop by 6% every 7. Of course, we follow guardrails in case things don't go as planned. And we can see their portfolio would need to drop by around 38% before we need to tap them on the shoulder to make a $600 a month cut to income until the plan stabilizes. But what if Joe works until next year, which means they delay retirement and they delay touching their portfolio and he's able to add more into his 401k? Well, we can see their gross monthly income increases to just $11,700. That's a $400 a month bump in exchange for another year of commuting, stress, and waiting to live the life they've earned. Over 12 months, that's $4,800. And yes, to many folks, that's a lot of money. But in the grand scheme of their specific retirement, when you've already built a multi-million-dollar nest egg, well, that $400 a month isn't going to radically transform your lifestyle. So ask yourself, what could that year actually buy you? Maybe it buys you more time with your grandkids, before they hit the teenage years and get too cool for family visits. Or maybe a bucket list trip you've been pushing off that would be too physically demanding down the road. So yeah, Joe and Helen could retire right now with $11,300 a month or work one more year to get $11,700. That extra $400 a month means trading a year of life for a slight bump in income. And when you put it like that, it really forces you to ask, is it worth it? So of course, you first have to make sure that the math checks out, but what about your actual life? How do you know if your retirement timeline is aligned with what matters most to you? Now, here's one of the most simple yet powerful frameworks to find out. Credit to George Kinder. I want you to set aside 15 minutes and grab a pen. And when I get to the framework questions, I want you to pause the video and write them down. Then you and your spouse each answer these 3 questions separately without talking it over first. So question number 1, I want you to imagine that you are financially secure, that you have enough money to take care of your needs now and in the future. And the question is, how would you live your life? What would you do with the money? Would you change anything? I don't want you to hold back on your dreams. This is supposed to be super fun. Now, question number 2, you visit the doctor who tells you that you have 5 to 10 years to live. The good news is that you won't ever feel sick, but the bad news is that you will have no notice of the moment of your death. What will you do with the time that you have remaining to live? Will you change your life? And how will you do it? And finally, question number 3. Now, this time your doctor shocks you with the news that you only have 1 day left to live. Notice what feelings arise as you confront your very real mortality and ask yourself, what dreams will be left unfulfilled? What do I wish I had finished or had been? What do I wish I had done? Now, this one is usually a shocker, but it's less about what you would do and more about what you didn't do. Did you miss anything in your life? Now, yes, I know these are big questions, and at first you might draw a blank, and that's okay. Let it be messy. Just start writing. And what usually happens is people write things they haven't even said out loud before. Like, I'd spend 3 months off the grid in a cabin and not answer a single email, or I'd get my pilot's license and fly to some remote location, right? It's stuff that seems small or strange to say in everyday conversation, but it feels huge on paper. And suddenly you're not just talking about what you want from retirement, you're talking about what you want from your life. And if you do have a partner, it's best to share your answers. That's where the real magic happens. Because maybe your spouse, wants to live on a quiet lake somewhere in the mountains, and you want to spend your winters in Arizona. That's not a problem, but it is a conversation. And it's way better to have it now, not 6 months after you retire. Now, if you're single, talk it out with someone who knows how to listen. You'll be surprised what comes out of your mouth when someone just says, hey, you know what? Tell me more about that. We believe so much in the power of these questions. It's why we ask every single new family considering working with our firm. You might find incredible clarity. You might also uncover questions you didn't even know you had. But either way, you've just taken a huge step toward designing a retirement that fits you, not just your financials. Because if money weren't a factor and your time's limited, which it is for all of us since we don't know the expiration date on our birth certificate, how would you actually want to live? Most people never answer that until after retiring, but by then it's usually too late to course correct. But let's say your financial plan looks great on paper and you know what you want to do. But can you actually live on the cash flow shown in your projections comfortably and confidently? There's one simple yet powerful way to find out. So for 3 to 6 months leading up to retirement, live exactly on your projected retirement income. That means what you expected to receive in Social Security or pensions and investment withdrawals or any other income source only after taxes have been accounted for. If you're earning more than your projected after-tax retirement income, then I want you to set that money aside like it doesn't exist. Because this isn't just a math test, it's a lifestyle test. And it's not just about the big expenses. It's also about the little things, like whether you think twice before saying yes to brunch, or if that trip to visit your kids out of state feels like a stretch, or if you're hesitating before donating to a cause you care about. This test is where the rubber hits the road. It's where you stop saying, yeah, I think we can live on that, and you can actually prove it to yourself. You might discover that it feels totally fine, or maybe you feel restricted and things are tighter than you expected. So whether it felt easy or tight, living on your projected income now is gold, because now you know you're not just guessing. And if things need adjusting, you can do it before retirement is official. So live on your projected retirement income for 3 to 6 months, and you'll instantly see whether your plan matches real life, both emotionally and financially. Now let's talk about time, because it's easy to dream big about, long walks or grandkid visits, but what does your actual week in retirement look like? So here's a challenge most people skip. Plan your perfect retirement week, hour by hour. Include hobbies, exercise, volunteering, downtime, church, whatever you envision, but be detailed. Don't just write golf. Well, when are you golfing? And with who? Is this something you'll do with others or a solo thing? What time does your day start at? Are you cooking dinner every night or are you going out? Then you get to test run your perfect week. Try this for 2 full weeks if you can, maybe while you're on vacation. And after 2 weeks, check in with yourself. Does this routine energize you? And can you actually see yourself living this way? Sometimes people discover they are more busy in retirement than when they are working. And that's because the possibilities are endless. You're finally in charge of your own schedule, and eventually people find their rhythm. But those early years can be challenging if you're not intentional with your time. This matters because retirement isn't a never-ending Saturday, right? It's your new normal. And the clearer you see it, the better you can plan. So map out your ideal retirement week, then try living it. You'll quickly find out whether you're actually excited for this next chapter or if you're just running away from work. Now, one last thing, and it's a powerful one. Retirement isn't just about what you stop doing. It's about who you are without your job title. Are you ready to let go of that identity? See, some people may have no problem with this crisis of identity, but for many of the high-achieving folks we've worked with, it's a battle they've secretly struggled with. I want you to try this. For 30 days, whenever you introduce yourself, you must do so without mentioning your job title or your profession. You can't say, I'm the VP of operations. Instead, say, I'm a grandfather who loves cycling, or I'm passionate about mentoring young people. It's probably going to feel a little awkward at first, and you might stumble, but that's the point, because your job title has been part of your identity for 30, maybe 40 years. And for many people, letting go of that isn't easy, but by practicing now, it gives you the space to figure out who you want to be next. This little shift forces a big internal reset, and it helps you start building identity beyond your career while you're still working. So try introducing yourself without your job title for 30 days. It's one of the fastest ways to figure out whether your identity is tied to your career and whether you're truly ready to let go. Now, we just explored how to test your retirement before making it permanent to see if you're emotionally and financially ready to take the leap. But even if you are ready, are your investments actually built to support the lifestyle you want? In this next video, my business partner, Anthony, will walk you through a smarter, more personalized way to design your retirement portfolio using a real 4 million case study that could save you 6 figures in taxes and give you the confidence to spend without second guessing. He'll see you over in that video right now.